Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. My name is Juliet. So here is my pattern. I have placed it on the fabric to cut. For the collar, this is what we have. I'll be using this velvet fabric for the collar and then the Ankara piece as the collar lining. I've also gone ahead to iron the medium gum stay on the fabric. So this part that is curved is the part that will sit on the neckline, so that we're going to leave that part open and then sew this other side using 1/2 inch, following the line like so. So we're going to sew right sides together for the collar and placing that aside. Here is the center front piece. I added 1/2 inch on the inside where I cut out the dart, like I mentioned in my last video. So extra 1/2 inch for allowance. Also, I reduced the length. My fabric was not enough to get me the length that I initially wanted. So for the lining piece of the center front, I'm also using the velvet fabric. It's going to fall to the outside and you will see later. Now for the side front, this is what we have. I also added 1/2 inch extra allowance on the dart side, as you can see. And then for the side seam, we already added our allowance on the pattern, so there's no need for that. And then the length. Also for the lining is shorter than the main fabric by 2 inches. So next, now we're going to go join these pieces together. So this is the side front and the center front, right sides together using 1/2 inch. And then this is the other side of the front, right sides together, side front and center front pieces. For the lining as well, we are going to do the same thing. So we're placing the center piece for the lining, which is this velvet piece that's going to sit on the outside. You can use any other fabric. You can use the same Ankara piece if you want to, if you don't want any contrasting colors. So this is the other side of the lining as well. We're going to go join using 1/2 inch. For the center back, we have added 1/2 inch on the center back and then 1/2 inch allowance on the side where we removed our dart. So we're going to close the center back first using 1/2 inch, both the lining and the main fabric. So the lining is also shorter by 2 inches. So after joining the center back together, we are now going to join it together with the side back pieces using 1/2 inch as well. So you can see that the side back piece as well has I added 1/2 inch allowance to the side, but for the side seam allowance, it's already on the pattern, so there was no need for that. And also lining pieces. So after joining back pieces together and front pieces together, this is what the back piece is looking like. We are going to place the front piece right sides together on the shoulder and then go join the shoulders together. So you see, align them properly and then join using 1/2 inch, and then the other side of the shoulder as well, right sides together. We are going to do the same thing for the lining pieces. So we'll place the lining. This is the back lining. Place it right sides facing up, and then one part of the front, right sides facing the back piece. Align the shoulders properly and then go sew using 1/2 inch allowance. This is the collar I have sewn and turned it to the right side, so this is what we have. The other curved part is open. This is the part that will sit in the neckline, as you would see later on. So after joining the shoulders, we are going to align them together, but first I folded the collar into two and I notched the midpoint, which we are going to be needing. Then this is the blazer piece. I am aligning the midpoint of the collar to the midpoint of the back. Notice that the part with the velvet is facing up while the Ankara piece is facing the right side of the blazer. This is so that when we are done, the velvet piece will sit on the outside. So we're going to go sew the collar around the neckline, following the curve carefully, after which we'll place the lining piece on top of it, right sides together, and then sew the neckline all the way around. That's after sewing the collar. And then we will also sew the armhole, right sides together. But for the armhole, in order not to have excess hanging when we are done, we are going to reduce the armhole part on the lining piece. So we're going to mark out a little less than quarter of an inch. So what we're going to cut out is not going to be up to quarter inch, and just cut that out. That way our armhole will sit perfectly after turning out, and there will be no excess hanging on the outside. So on this other side as well, I am going to just use my chalk to make a mark that is less than quarter of an inch all the way around the lining piece. Remember, we are cutting out only the lining piece and not on the main fabric. After sewing the neck, we'll go ahead sew the armhole right sides together, and then we'll come back and continue. So if you're enjoying this video so far, kindly give it a like and also share it with your friends who might need it. Thank you so much. So after sewing the neck and the armhole, we will go ahead now and notch. Just make small cuts, but don't cut the part you have sewn. Next, now I am turning the blazer to the right side. So I picked one part of the front piece, passed it through the shoulder all the way to the back, and then pull everything out. That way our armhole looks clean. You can see that's the neck part. Next, we are doing the same thing. Just hold one edge of the front piece, put it through the shoulder, and then pull to the back, and all the front piece is going to come out to the back, revealing our clean armhole, nicely finished armhole. So this is it now. Next thing, we are going to go now and iron very smoothly. This is the armhole. We're going to go iron, make sure everything is clean. Also the neckline, you see that the bevel part of the blazer and the collar are all matching. That's the only way it will fall to the outside when we are done. So after ironing, the next thing we're going to do now is to join the side seams together. So we're going to open up this armhole side, making sure that the armhole points are matching. Then we'll hold the lining pieces together and the main fabric pieces together. So lining to lining, main fabric to main fabric, and then using the 2 inches of allowance we left earlier, we're going to sew the side seams down from the armhole all the way to the lining, end part of the lining, and then the other part with the main fabric. So turn it over like so. Make sure the armhole points are matching. Measure 2 inches all the way to one end and to the other, and then go sew. So after sewing, this is what we have for the side seam. You can go ahead and open it, open apart and iron before turning over to the right side. So after ironing this, we are going to take it back, like take the lining back to the wrong side. See how clean the inside is looking? This is a perfect inseam finishing. So after ironing that, we are going to place the right side of the main fabric facing us, and then pull the lining back to this right side, matching it on the hemline. So we're going to go sew using 1/2 inch, but then we will leave a space of about 6 inches where we'll turn everything out when we are done. So when you're sewing, you get to the point where I marked, you back stitch, leave that space, back stitch again and continue. So after sewing, this is what we have on the lower part. Now it's time to sew the center front. So starting from the neckline, we are going to sew all the way down using 1/2 inch. the main fabric is going to fold over because our lining is shorter. Then on this other end as well, starting from the neckline, we're going to sew all the way down, after which we will use that 6 inches space we left to turn out to the right side. So after sewing the center front, this is what we have. I'm going to notch these corners so that it's not bulky when we turn out. Then using this 6 inches space, like I mentioned earlier, we are going to pull out the entire blazer to the right side. So after turning everything to the right side, we are going to iron this very smoothly and then finish this opening with either a hemming gum or an invisible stitch, and we are done. Next, we are going to add a button and a buttonhole to the front. You can add either one button or two depending on how what you want. I remember the break we broke off from the half length, so you just take that into consideration and add your button at this exact spot. But that is it on how to make this beautiful but this simple but beautiful blazer. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, drop them for me in the comment sections. Like this video, share it with your friends, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks again for watching. Bye.